Welcome, people of the wide web. Pardon me. It is Chris from Cypher Sigma Toys. So this is the first video of 2026. So thank you all who have supported the channel through the past almost 3 years now. Yes, this is my video, essentially my top 10 want items for 2026. Now I've gone a little different route now, as you may have seen. If you've seen the channel, changes are coming. They will be explained in later videos, probably later towards the middle of the year. But obviously I'm trying to kind of cut down. I also have kind of, last year was quite a great year for me. I picked up a lot of the stuff I was after. I've completed most of sets, and there's only odd little things I'm after. So I've kind of had to rescope. So what I've kind of done is a massive want list. It's not a grail list, because I feel like anything that's kind of a grail or in a good, really stuff that's really, stuff that is really hard to find that I found, like Tendril and that from last year, I'm so lucky to have, and the prices that I've had, because I've seen people trying to sell them low, like in the UK, and they're offering more than what I had to pay to import them from America, pay like charges and everything else, and I've still ended up saving money, and in better condition. So yeah, so we'll go for the 10 items. So they're not in any specific order. So the first off is Remco. So Remco are a company, obviously did toys. In the 90s, there was a cartoon called the SWAT Cats, and Remco did do a set of 4 figures. They're very hard to get off. If you search, you're looking at least 50, 60 quid for the cheaper end that have damage. You're looking 100 to 200 for complete. Dr. Viper is the one I like the most, is the green guy with all the spikes, but because he has so many spikes and stuff, finding him loose in a complete condition is going to be really hard. Obviously, there's one, I think, 40, 50 quid currently on eBay, but has a lot of stuff broken on it. I'm not going to pay that money for something that is in that condition, because of obviously it's his aesthetic. Vipers has a lot of spikes, so it wouldn't look great to display it. So that's the first one I'm after. As I say, I'm more focused on Dr. Viper out of all of them, but I would like to have the SWAT Cats. Like I say, they are cropping up to like 50 to 100 quid, so I will keep an eye on that. So next up is, you may have come across them, you can't see there, I have NECA Gargoyles. So NECA Gargoyles, as far as we can see, has been cancelled. It's been no notice of new figures over a year and nothing else. It took ages to get the last few figures. Now, unfortunately, Lexington, there's 2 figures that I'm missing. So the next 2 are those 2 figures. Basically, they complete my set. So it's the Lexington one. So I'll put him up here. So Lexington. He's slightly on the cheaper side. So I have seen him pop up for 90 to 100 pounds and then go above. So he is the second one I'm after. Number 3 is then Alicia Masters. The only one that keeps cropping up is almost 200 quid. For a figure that came out, it was about 50, 60 quid. It's a lot of money to ask for. I do apologise about the sound. The house across the way from me always seems to have gardeners on, and they've decided to cut. You know, this is being filmed just before Christmas, so why they're doing it now, who knows. So yeah, so that is 9 and 8. So Lexington and Alicia Masters from the NECA line. Going to be hard to find. I suspect I'll be paying about £100 for each of them. So I'll keep an eye out. Who knows? I might get a bargain. Might find somebody who's willing to sell it for a reasonable price. So next up is another line that I've come across. I have one on currently on Vinted for quite a reasonable price. So I've seen these before and I really like these. So in the early 2000s, Nickelodeon had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise, and it went through many iterations. One of these series, the third or fourth series down the line, the early 2000s series, they had Flash Forward, which is essentially the Turtles went into the future, and then they had evil versions of them. So I'll pop them up here. So these are what I'm after. I would like to get a complete set if possible. As I say, I have one on Vinted. It's going to cost me almost 60 quid to get that one, and it has no weapons or anything. Main one out of this is the Leo. So you can only kind of tell which one is which by the color of their masks or stuff they have, or little details they have on them. He's the one I kind of want the most. Again, probably looking 100 quid too. A lot of this stuff is going to be very expensive. But it is what it is. So yeah, I'd really like to have a complete set. I don't have many figures from that line, but I do like that cartoon. I do thought those figures were really, really cool. Unfortunately, just near the end of the line and not many were produced, and this is why they become so expensive. So that's the fourth one. So 5, obviously around Christmas time, I started to get a bit more on an Extreme Dinosaurs bandwagon. Obviously had that Chappie May little dragon as well, pterodactyl, not dragon. So looking through the characters, and I've only come across this once in one of the toys, that you could get Hard Rock. So he is the most expensive. He's an Ankylosaurus, has like a kind of cage that drops over his face and stuff like this. Really cool looking one. Really don't come across him that often. There are a few, I think, on eBay for about £100, give or take, £90 to £100, depending on condition and accessories. So yeah, so he is also one I would like to get. I think he would. I don't have many Extreme Dinosaurs. Obviously, with the in the new year, I'll have a new setup and rearrange Extreme Dinosaurs and stuff. So I hopefully will create a display with him to go in the middle when I do purchase him, obviously. So that is 5. So next up is one I could have pre-ordered, but I haven't. So a good movie from 2025 was obviously Predator Badlands, and NECA have released like this, or I think it's February, March, might even be April time, NECA figure, multiple faces, multiple weapons of the main Predator on this. Really, really like this figure, really like looking. I could have pre-ordered it, but as I say, I'm trying to cut down my emphasis for 2026 is I'm not really going to pre-order any, or try not to pre-order anything unless I have an abundance of money that I can treat myself to, and my savings are all doing good and everything else is going on. So I will see how things go. Obviously, stuff does get released even if you don't pre-order it, and there are limited amounts. So maybe I might duck out and come across one of these, maybe on a visit with the guys to London, Forbidden Planet or something. Who knows? And then can pick it up there. We shall see. So that is number 6. So number 7, one that came up for pre-order in 2025, is the companion to the Marshall. It is Roman Toys 3-0. Essentially, this is their depiction of 3030. I think it came out at about, the pre-order was there, even though with money off, it was like going to be 130 quid. It's a lot of money for a figure. And Marshall was like half the price with the early birds. And I couldn't, I mean, it was way over 100, especially when you're trying to cut down. It's a lot of money. Plus with Roman Toys, you wait like a year to get the figure. So not having like £100 lying around, or being able to throw 120 quid here or 130 quid, because obviously then I think there's postage as well you have to pay on top of that, and then like having to wait like a year for the figure to turn up would be great, but I just didn't have the money last year. I had so much going on, and everybody knows with cost of that, my work have been quite hectic and stuff, and obviously our pay rises were all cut and stuff, and I actually ended up with less money in 25 than I did with 24, even with getting not a very good pay rise. So take of that what you will. So that is the 7th one. So 8, as always, you follow the series, and there should be hopefully some new videos up of each wave that I have done. There also is Mighty Ducks. Picture is the last complete figure that I need, and then it's vehicles and accessories essentially to complete this line. Again, I'm going to keep an active eye out. If they're reasonable, I will try and purchase this to complete it. I think we're over 800 quid. It's going to probably hit £1,000 before I complete this wave. I would like to complete it with the Aero Wing. As I say, there is a limited edition bike and figure that is going on eBay, and I see somebody selling. So if that reduces in price, I may invest in that. Then you've got the roller skate and the Aero Wing, those 2 vehicles and say bit accessories. So I think 200-300 quid is more than reasonable to get the rest of the stuff. It just got to keep my eyes out and keep doing what I'm doing and recording the time and stuff. So thank you again. That channel has been a passion project and video series that I've really enjoyed. So thank you everyone who has come along with me. As I say, I'll release videos in the new year. Each week, essentially, each wave I have that's complete, showing you each figure and what they have. So obviously anybody who wants to get the Mighty Ducks or has Mighty Ducks and wants to know what they're missing, this will be a good reference for them. So that's number 8. So one of the ones following over, or the last 2 are follows over from 2025, so to speak. So Alpha Trion, I don't have an Alpha Trion figure. There are newer versions that have come out from Hasbro, but I really like the Orion packs and Alpha Trion pack. Now, a few of these have come up for a year. They just always come up near the end of the month when I don't have the money, or a week before payday, and people don't want to hold the price, which I totally understand. but they do come up from time to time. Normally you end up having to buy them as a set. So I'm now, as time has gone on, I quite like the look of the Orion Pax Frigga, and I kind of would like to have him in there as well. So this pack I will be on the hunt for. As I say, it's going to be 100 quid. A lot of this stuff is expensive. I'm probably looking, most of these figures are like free figures, free digits, 100 quid plus it's going to cost me. That's the price of tie collecting. And when you get to the level I get to, and I've got all the bait or a lot of the basic stuff you get, this is where stuff gets costing, and this is where it's limiting of how much I pick up or what I do. And then the final one, obviously, Killer Tomatoes. I did pick up 1 Killer Tomato this year. I still have not got Fang Mato. Larry is in his prime. Would really love to pick him up. Obviously, I have a guy who deals with the NEC. He always seems to come across versions of him from time to time. So I reckon if I do get a chance to go to the NEC, which is not on the cards at the minute, as I say, trying to save money. When I go to the NEC, it's 400 or 500 quid of my money. And currently that is a lot of money to save and then spend in one go. It's enjoyable. I do it for a toy thing, as I say, but with other stuff going on in my life. And sorry, I keep going on this, and the reason why I'm not mentioning it is because stuff has to fall in place, and I have to kind of get to a date where stuff is confirmed. And if I don't get to that date, it isn't. And that's why I don't want to jinx stuff. That's just me as a person. But anyway, that has been my top 10 figures that I'm looking for in 2026. What figures are you looking for? Let me know in the comments below so we can carry on this discussion. I've been Chris from Cypher Sigma Toys. Thank you all for supporting the channel, watching the videos and everything else you do. I really appreciate it. I hope you all had a great Christmas and New Year's, and hopefully we have financially at least, and other stuff better 2026. This is Chris from Cypher Sigma signing out.